Hey guys, in today's lesson I want to go ahead and continue working on half angle formulas with a different scope to it. Okay, in this case they give us a given sine value, okay, sine of an angle u. It's 3 over 5 and it's in the second quadrant between pi over 2 and pi. And we have to figure out these relationships using our half angle formula. So the first thing you notice that I drew my triangle. And just like we've done in the past, you're going to need this side as well. And so you're going to have to use a Pythagorean theorem. So you should get, let's see here, 3 squared plus something squared is equal to 5 squared. And when you solve it, you should end up with b is equal to plus or minus 4. Okay? And since we're going to the left, we're going to use negative 4. So now that I have my triangle filled in, I'm going to go ahead and do letter A and use my half angle formula. So sine of u over 2 is going to give me the square root, okay, it's going to be 1 minus the sign is always a negative over 2. Okay, so are we going to use the positive or the negative? Okay. The sine of this angle, okay, whatever the sine of this angle is, you notice the sine is what? Opposite over hypotenuse. The sine is actually positive. So we're going to be using the positive angle, okay, the positive square root. So we're just going to go ahead and continue. Cosine of u is easy, adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to have 1 minus negative 4/5 right there, divided by 2. And then now we'll just go ahead and do our math. So if negative times negative is a positive. So we're going to have 1 plus 4/5, or we're going to have 5/5 plus 4/5 on the top. On the bottom, we just still have the 2. Make sure the square root goes both to the top and the bottom. And this is going to give me 9/5. 9/5 over 2. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a simplification here. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 5. And that's going to give me square root of 9 over square root of 10. So that is going to give me 3 over radical 10. Now, and of course, my professor is not going to allow me to leave a radical in the denominator. And that's going to give me 3 radical 10 on the top. On the bottom, you're just going to have 10. So 10 times 10 is 100. The square root of 100 is 10. So that's how you do that one. Let's go ahead and do cosine. Cosine is the same, except now, okay, I won't put the cosine half angle. But cosine is the same, except it's 1 plus cosine of the u, the angle. And now, I do the same thing here, 1. And the cosine of u is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that'll be minus 4/5 over 2 right here. Keep going, so this becomes 5/5 minus 4/5, and that's nice because that becomes 1/5. Okay, on the bottom we have the 2. So now we have 1/5 on the top. On the bottom we have the 2. And we just go ahead and continue. We're going to go ahead and multiply both the top and the bottom by 5, just to simplify it a little bit. And that's going to give me 1. Okay, that's going to simplify into a 1. So square root of 1 over square root of 10. So that's going to give me 1 over radical 10. And then I'm going to go ahead and simplify just like I did the other one. Radical 10, radical 10. And that's going to give me radical 10 over 10. And I'm done with the second one. Whoops, I'm sorry, guys. So we're going to go ahead and, if you notice here, so I started with 1 plus cosine of u. Cosine of u is negative 4/5. This is my 5/5. Subtract, that becomes 1/5. Now, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the top and the bottom by 5 just to cancel the complex fraction. 1 over radical 10. rationalize it, and there's your solution. The last one is tangent. Tangent of u, there's two of them you can use, but I think I'll just use, let's see here, 1 minus cosine of u divided by sine of u. Okay, I'll go ahead and use that one. And then 1 minus cosine of u. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so -4/5. And then on the bottom, sine of u. Sine is, they already give it to me, 3/5. Negative times negative is a positive. We're going to get 1 plus 4/5 over 3/5. And that's going to give me the same thing, 5/5 plus the 4/5 all over 3/5. And that's going to give me 9/5 over 3/5. And if you remember, when the denominators are the same here, they can just simplify each other out. So your answer is 9 on the top, 3 on the bottom, which is 3. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can do some more examples. Okay. This one right here. Same thing, except now, notice that they want us to do secant of u. Well, instead of secant, I'm going to use the reciprocal, which is cosine. And so I do my triangle, but I flip this guy. And if I do my Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to have, let's see here, -3 quantity squared plus b squared is equal to 7 squared. And you should end up with b is equal to the square root of 49 minus 9, which is going to be square root of 40. Okay, so this guy over here is the square root of 40. All right, and it's positive because you can see it's going up. All right, nice. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and use sine. Okay, so what I'm going to do, guys, because they want sine. Okay, so first they got secant. So I drew my triangle. I was able to do it. And now I'm going to use the sine. So now I'm going to get 1 minus cosine of u divided by 2. Okay, sine of this angle. Okay, the sine of this angle comes out to be positive, so I'm going to use the positive one. And cosine of u, we're able to solve it, is adjacent over the hypotenuse. And I probably should have done the cosine, but either way, it's okay. So -3 over 7, we already have it. So that's going to be 1 minus -3/7 over 2. Okay, and we just continue with the same process. So that becomes 7/7 plus 3/7 over 2. Okay, so now that becomes 10/7 over 2. Keep going, multiply this guy by 7. Same thing on the bottom. That's going to give me 10 over 14. Radical 10, radical 14. All right. I think the only thing we can do is just go ahead and rationalize the bottom. Square root of 14, square root of 14. That's going to give me 140, square root of 140, all over 14. And then 14, I'm pretty sure we can simplify it further, but nothing comes to mind. Let's see, is 4 going to it? 3, 12. Yeah, it actually does, huh? It actually does. Let me see here. 4 goes into 140. 4 goes into 14 3 times. And then 12, 2 left over, 20. 20 goes into 4. Or 4 goes into 25 times. And yep. And then on the bottom we have 14. So, and the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 radical 35. On the denominator you have 14. So this simplifies into square root of 35 over 7. And there it is, guys. For these next ones, they ask us to go ahead and simplify the expression using the half angles and just kind of memorizing it. Remember, all you got to do is look at this guy here. This guy, just take half of this guy. So the answer is actually going to be sine of this, whatever this guy is, divided by 2. And you can simplify that. That becomes 5x. Sine of 5x. What about this guy? Well, this guy is cosine. It's a plus, right? So actually we're going to do the cosine. Same thing, half of that in the middle. Okay. And that gives me cosine of 4x. The one that's kind of tricky is actually this one. Believe it or not, this one's actually tangent. If you look back at your the notes that we did, we integrate both of the formulas in this one from tangent. So actually this guy, okay, is going to give me tangent half of 2x, so 2x, take the half of it, and that's actually going to give me tangent of x. And that's how it simplifies. Alright guys, and so hopefully that makes sense. Let me know. I'll just continue to do some more problems, and I'll see you guys next time.